I don't know about you, but when I am really consistent about getting my regular exercise in, I feel absolutely amazing. And it really begs the question, why have I struggled sticking to a consistent exercise routine for years? If you are in the same boat as me and you have had a hard time sticking to a consistent workout routine, then this episode might just change your life. I want to share with you a few tips that have helped me to finally build a movement routine that will actually stick.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
Now, when I'm talking about struggling to stay consistent with a movement routine or an exercise routine, I'm not saying that you can't have multiple different things in your life. Like, I have done a lot of different types of exercises over the years. When I was a teenager, I really loved doing Walk Away the Pounds with Leslie Sansone. And if you like home workouts and you've never checked her out, I actually really like that. And I still enjoy them to this day. I think it's called Walk at Home now instead, but they were just really effective for me and my body. I went through a period of time where I was doing a lot of kickboxing videos. I was doing Zumba with some friends. I was doing yoga, strength training. I attempted a couch to 5K. I even had a personal trainer at one point, and everything was really good until I kind of fell out of the routine of sticking with it, and then I would lose all motivation and I would stop. And during this time, I was also really struggling with my weight. I've always struggled with my weight. I have a lot of hormone issues, but during this time, I would kind of have these time frames where I would focus on just getting really all in on exercise and diet, and then something would ultimately, not go perfectly, and I would slip off the wagon, and then I would just derail. And that is how it has been for years, and it just kept having this cyclical uh motion where I would just continue to fall off, and I would start something new, and then I'd fall off, and I'd start something new, and then I'd fall off, you get the point. It was just terrible. And I actually even had my personal trainer when I was kind of talking her through, and she was trying to learn more about my history and everything. She told me that she's like, "You have built a habit of quitting." And I was like, "Oof," like punch to the gut. Like, yeah, I have, and I had never really thought about it that way. It's like I would get all in on one thing, and then when it wouldn't go the way that I wanted to, or I wasn't seeing results in the time frame that I wanted, I would just give up on it rather than focusing on what what the benefits were of it if I just continued. So I have really tried to shift this mindset, and I've tried to change how I do things and how I view my movement routine, and it has helped so much. I have been more consistent than ever. I have felt so much better, and I really just have enjoyed it, and I can see this working more long term because it's not so strict. So if you are struggling with anything like this, and maybe you're not, maybe you're like, what on earth are you talking about? This is crazy. Why can't you just stick to something? And if that's the case, I'm sorry. I just struggle with it. I really do. But I don't want to build a habit of quitting. So I had to figure out how I could actually stick to something long term and not give up. And what I have kind of shifted my mindset to be has helped so dramatically that I really want to share it with you, because if you are struggling with some of the same things I do, but you do have a desire to get that movement in, to get that exercise in and be and feel really healthy, then these might help you too. So I wrote them down, and I have 6 of them, and they're just tips in no particular order that I think could be very beneficial. So number 1 is don't think about it as a must do, but as a want to do. And this flip in your mindset helps so much in how it makes you feel about doing that movement or that exercise. Because if you focus on wanting to do it rather than needing to do it, then you're going to have a more positive desire to get it done and to go out and feel really good rather than just, powering through the workout and not feeling super great about it, but just doing it because it has to be done. We want to feel really good about it and just focusing on wanting to do it rather than needing to do it does help a ton. And it's a small tweak that we can make, but we do have to be very aware of how we're thinking about our exercise. The second tip I would say is to find movement that you enjoy. And notice I'm not saying exercise or a workout because movement can be exercise, any type of movement. So find the things that you really love. It could be dancing, it could be walking, it could be home workout videos, it could be biking. When was the last time you rollerbladed? Like, if you have a space to do that, maybe you could do that. You could play catch and run around the yard with your dog. Like, there's all sorts of types of movement that you can do that you can add to your life that you're not currently doing that will help you to bring that energy and movement into your life more consistently without feeling like it's this dreaded workout block. But even though we still need those workout blocks sometimes, the first thing you want to do is just focus on finding movement that you really love. The third tip I would say is not to be super strict on the time frame. So focus on the activity itself. So this could mean the time frame of the actual time of day, but also the time that it takes you. So instead of focusing on I need to work out an hour, then focus on just the type of movement and just getting something in each day. So maybe, there's 1 or 2 days where it's only 15 or 30 minutes, and then the other days you can get a full hour. But when you focus on being open to different time frames, it doesn't feel so strict. And then when you do have a busier day, you don't have to just scrap your workout altogether or your movement altogether because you can't get a full hour in. But instead, you can be like, okay, I have 15 minutes, I can do that here. So don't be so strict on the time frame. Just focus on the activity and be consistent with just getting something in instead. And then tip number 4 is to actually plug it into your calendar or your schedule ahead of time and pick those movement time blocks. So when you are sitting down to plan out your week, you want to look at when you are wanting to get this movement in. You have a goal too, because when I am looking at my week and I made a goal on Friday last week to make sure I got 5 workouts in this week, and I didn't focus on what they had to be or how long they had to be. I just needed to make sure I got 5 workouts in or some sort of movement 5 times. And I don't usually include my walks with my dog in the morning. Like, I work from home, so I need I need a bigger boost to get out and get some movement in because otherwise I'm just sitting at a desk all day. But I need to, block that time when I'm planning out my week. So if I am gonna be busy on an evening when I would typically go to the gym, then I need to readjust. Do I need to do something on my lunch break? Do I need to get up earlier and do it in the morning and then shift some things around in the morning to make that work? So I do this ahead of time so that I'm not being reactive and waking up that morning and going, "Oh, shoot, like, I guess I don't have time to work out today," and then not doing anything. So I want to actually see ahead of time where I can plug these workouts in so that it actually works with my schedule so I can hit my goals of getting that movement in and still showing up where I need to in the other parts of my life. So the tip number 5 is to do what you can, even if it's only 15 minutes. Now, I already said this about not being super strict on the time frame, but this goes into it a little bit more is even if you can't do a full workout, do what you can. And this is going to make a big difference because you're going to find that you have a lot more pockets in your day than you think. So, like I said, with that walk away the pounds or walk at home with Leslie Sansone, those videos, you can do a full mile in like 15 minutes. And those little pockets make a huge difference. And I know there's several people in my family that really enjoy those workouts because it's like it's a lot of movement and you use different parts of your body, but you're still just walking at home. So it's very easy, it's very doable for beginners. They're kind of fun. It has music and you just feel really good and energized afterwards. So that is something that you could do even if you only have 15 minutes. So do those little pockets. And if that's all you can do that day, then be really proud of that. But don't focus so much on having to do something that you set out to do and then your day doesn't go as planned. Just do what you can and just don't skip it just because it can't be a full hour workout. And then tip number 6 is to just not give up. Now this one is a little bit easier said than done, but we don't want to build that habit of quitting. So when we are focusing on these other tips, we are able to get more consistent about getting regular activity and movement into our schedules. And once you do this and you are being really consistent and you start to kind of see the benefits of having a consistent movement routine, you get more energized, you feel better, you will find that you will actually want to do additional things, whether it is putting more time into it and getting a little bit more strict on what you're doing. And that's okay. Like, go ahead and do that. But if you're having a hard time being consistent right now, instead of focusing on a program and sticking to it and it has to be perfect, don't focus so much on that, but focus on just not giving up and doing these consistent movement blocks throughout your week when you can. And get consistent about that first, because once you do that, then you can build from there and you won't worry about giving up because there's nothing to give up to. If you skip a day, it's going to be okay. Just do what you can and keep going, and it's going to make all the difference. And then you can build as you want to once you're ready to do that. So I hope this gave you some encouragement. If you are struggling with this, I see you, I hear you, I get it because I know how that feels. But if you focus on these tips, I really think that you will feel so much better and you will see how consistent you can actually get with pulling that movement into your life. So I will recap those 6 tips for you really quickly. Number 1 is don't think about it as a must do, but as a want to do. The mindset makes all the difference. Focus on how it makes you feel. Number 2 is find movement that you enjoy, any type of movement, whether it's dancing, walking, videos, biking, rollerblading, whatever. Just find movement that you enjoy. Number 3 is don't be super strict on the time frame, focus on the activity itself. Number 4 is to plug it into your calendar or schedule ahead of time, and you can rearrange the time that you need for those movement blocks. Number 5 is to do what you can, even in the pockets, even if it's only 15 minutes, just do what you can so that you don't skip it. And number 6 is don't give up. We don't want to build that habit quitting. So once you get consistent and you are doing this regularly, then you can choose if you want to be a little bit more strict and build up those workouts and do something a little bit more structured. But until you get to that point, just focus on these tips so that we can build the consistency and see where it takes us. So I hope you enjoyed that episode and that you found it inspirational, and I will see you next time. If you have been dreaming of finding the perfect paper planner, look no further. My favorite paper planner is the Dream Planner by Horatio Printing. They have nice thick pages, so there is no bleed through. There are simple, clean lines, so you can keep it super minimal if that's your style, or you have the space to get really creative if you like doing decorations or washi tape or stickers and all the things. There is enough structure to keep you organized without it being overwhelming. And there are even pages to plan your annual goals and dream, and even do a check in each quarter order. There are plenty of pages in the back, and this is where I like to track our marriage goals, my cycle, podcast progress throughout the year to keep this podcast going, my annual task list, and even habits that align with my goals. My favorite version is their black leather lay flat version, but you can also get other colors or even the spiral bound version if you are a spiral kind of girl. So I use my Google Calendar for my schedule, but if you have been listening to the podcast long, you know that I use my paper planner to plan out my upcoming week every Friday morning during my morning routine. This is a time that I can see my day stacks, I can plug in my priority tasks for the week and update my habit trackers to see if I am on pace to reach my goals. It is one of my favorite times of the week, and I love my paper planner. It's the only one that I've been able to stay consistently using throughout the entire year, and I love it. So once they sell out, they are gone for good. So you're going to want to grab yours quickly before they are gone if you want one for 2025. You can go to horatioprinting.com. That's HORACIO printing.com and use code Renae15 for 15% off your entire order. That's RENAE15 to get 15% off. You are not going to be sorry, and you will have so much fun planning the year ahead.